Another episode of We Fixed Real Estate. Today we've got Fred tuning in from Los Angeles and René from San Francisco, each with fly backgrounds on their screen. How's it going, Fred?
Groovy, man. I'm in LA. I didn't fix this picture on purpose to give you the idea that there's still a fog over Los Angeles. It's always
funny.
grayed up a little bit, you know?
It is so cold right now. I mean, it is, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, you're in San Diego.
May gray is here early and June gloom is on its way too.
I know, in April.
How about you, René? What's the weather looking like in?
Well, you know, I live in the foggiest part of San Francisco. So it's actually pretty foggy today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
55 and onshore.
Just starting to come out here, but still 61 degrees with 12-mile-an-hour winds. So
broadcasting from Griffith Park.
Next to 9. Yeah, that's exactly where this was taken. Griffith Park.
Well, let's see. This is not a weather show. This is a We Fixed Real Estate show. And
no, really? If you're in California, we have to talk about the weather and the traffic. We haven't talked about the traffic yet.
Oh, yeah. How's the traffic? I can see.
I take the 210 to the 605 to the 5 to the 405 and then I turn around and kill myself. I mean,
You've seen that Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah. It's great.
I think, you know, on a good day, so we're talking about freeways. On a good day, if you're driving from San Francisco to San Jose, you can get there in 47 minutes. So
it's actually 280.
Good. Yeah. If you go to the 280. So that's fantastic. I didn't know
that's a dream byway. I mean, it's got a little more backed up, but I remember the 90s, man. It was
there's like, you know, when you're going north trying to get off at Palo Alto at rush hour, the end of the day or in the morning, that's a pain. But other than that, 280 is pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite interstate in California. For what it's worth.
The favor for tech billionaires to speed on. There's all those.
There you go.
Bill Gates and Steve Jobs racing down the highway.
Yeah.
To get home to Woodside to your $8 million, mansion or whatever.
So, topic of the show is We Fixed Real Estate. Well, many realtors are trying to figure out how to fix their situation now that this another lawsuit settlement's coming, and people are coming up with creative ways and scripts. What do you think, Fred?
Well, here's the thing. We just laughed when this all happened because we've been charging a fixed fee with people and it's been fine. And now it's like everybody's trying to make a buck off of telling you what to do based on these lawsuits. So there's this big thing in these real estate coaches that they tell people, you have to explain your value to the customer to justify your fee. And the stuff that they say that's value, if you think about it, I've heard some of these seminars and it's just bogus. It's like, you know, we have extremely great experience. We have fabulous reviews and we charge a flat fee and we give things that no one else does. That's our value. Our value is right on our website. We post, you know, what our fee is right on our website. Mm-hmm. You notice no one does that except for these discounters.
Mm-hmm.
Who are giving no service.
I think we're talking about the wrong topic here because look, I think a good agent should be able to talk about what value they provide and explain how they negotiate. Like when you're asked like, oh, how do you negotiate? We should be able to say we negotiate X, Y, Z, which we do, right? Oh, how do you know how competitive the house is going to be? Because that's our job, right? Our job is to get houses, you know, for our buyers to be able to buy homes and for our sellers to be able to get the best price that they can. So when we say, how do we bring our value? Okay, well, we ourselves, we do the inspections ahead of time and we pay for them, which is what we should do because we know exactly how to get better pricing for the inspections. We know how to get better inspection reports. You see a lot of agents who have relationships with inspectors and they just get these crappy inspections with no pictures, with no annotations, with no warnings. So you as a first-time home buyer, you read this report and you're like, what do I do? So then you get some agents that say, well, I help you read reports. Well, you wouldn't have to help your buyers read the reports if you had great reports that had all the documentations with color-coded that tells you exactly what to look for, right? And that's what we do. It's like, because that's why like we ourselves, we're not going to go line by line with the inspection report. Why? Because the inspectors themselves that we use, and that we don't force you to use them, but we do facilitate to use these inspectors, are tech centric, progressive. They are able to give you the best service ever. Now, the thing with all these services, with scripts and stuff, I think we're forgetting about the people who get affected the most. I think it's new agents. New agents don't know how to speak to buyers, right? They've never had a listing. So they do need someone to coach them. But what happens? All these ridiculous coaches and gurus, they just feed off new agents and they charge them $500. And then these agents, they're losing money because they don't have any deals. And then it's just again and again, a cycle of getting new agents to buy these scripts, because at the end of the day, it's the new agents that are getting screwed, right? The professionals that know how to get listings and that have a huge network, they're not buying these scripts. It's just the new agents that don't have any business, and that's who's getting affected the most.
There's really two things. It's the new agents and the old agents doing it the old way, who have lots of customers they've had over the years, and people just call them up, say, "Hey, Susie, list my house because you sold me the house 30 years ago." But I think the sellers, a lot of them don't even bother investigating newer types of ways to do things. Let me give you an example. In Los Angeles, when we see most of these listed properties, they have no disclosures, no inspections, nothing. They don't tell us anything. And the idea is, hey, you put your offer in and then we'll give it to you. If you don't like it, you can get out of it. Whereas in Northern California, most of them have all the inspections and the disclosures done. They're fully transparent. So if you're listing a house in Los Angeles and you're not giving out all of this information, you're kind of screwing yourself, because you're going to negotiate twice. You're going to think you get a great price. Then somebody does inspections and looks at disclosures and comes up with 20 things that were completely wrong that could have been addressed beforehand. And now they want to renegotiate, $50,000 lower in price. And people don't even know that you can do it up front. So, it's
whole. I think that part people are lied to, because the script, okay, let me talk about the script that people use to not get inspections done ahead of time. The agents will say, "Oh, we don't want to do them ahead of time because buyers, they don't trust the inspections, so they're going to get their own. So we're wasting our money." You don't know that. And you know what? If I have two options, if I have the option to, on one side, get some buyers who are not going to question us and use the inspections, and then have a second branch of customers who aren't trustworthy and get the inspections, so be it, right? At least we help that on one side of the customer angle, not have to question us.
Yeah. Right. And also, what's wrong with the place. If there's something major, you can fix it before it goes to market. If afterwards, who knows? That's the problem also.
Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of it's better to do it, because then you are being proactive, and being proactive is always better than being reactive. It's just common sense.
Transparency.
Yeah.
So to get inspections done before, is it common to have buyers get a secondary inspection?
Well, I mean, I think if I'm buying a house, right? If I'm doing it myself, look, I'm going to look at the reports, but I'm going to get maybe an ancillary report that shows a little bit deeper, more on the soil, right? Or maybe the foundation, right? Because
if there's something wrong.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. But it just depends on the type of buyer that you are. And if you just want to be a little bit more specific and more, I don't know.
Here's the other thing. Remember, number one, all these inspectors are licensed. Okay. So, and they're reviewed. So yeah, there's going to be a bad inspection here and there, but there's some agents I've had where they want to get their inspection anyway, because they want their inspector to look at the property. They think they're doing some great thing for the buyer, and they put an inspection clause, but if you have a multiple bid situation and the inspections are done, there's no way they're taking the house off the market for another inspection. Mm-hmm. So be aware of that as a buyer, that you're going to waive the inspection, like everybody else is on a house that's had the inspections done. So if you have any real questions, what we tell our buyers is, look, we're going to give you the inspection, take a look at it. yes, if you need help, we're here. But, if you have a specific question about something, call the inspector. And I think only once an inspector wouldn't talk to somebody, but other than that,
sometimes you get the inspectors, obviously they have a contract with the sellers or with other parties. So they have to get permission to allow the buyers to describe or explain the inspection a little bit more. Now, I think that even better than inspections is give a contractor the actual inspection report and say, hey, can we go through the house and see how much it would cost to fix these items, right? Or a contractor that does all these remodeling, that does all these fixes, go take a look at the house and see what's wrong with the house. That's going to be better and more important.
Yeah. And by the way, the inspection, not inspection company we're talking, René started about, it's called Inspectify, inspectify.com. They are an aggregator of inspectors. And they pull in home inspectors, termite, sewer video, roof, whatever you need. And they're able to coordinate times. But the cool thing that they do is usually 24 hours after they get the inspection, they'll send us a document that lists all the problems that are on there. And when they can, they show you approximately what it should cost to fix. And that's based on the location you're in, because it obviously costs more to repair something in California than it does in Wyoming. Mm-hmm. So that's good for being able to negotiate with a seller to say, look, we want $5,000 and here's why. And that's a great thing that you don't get from normal inspectors. It helps you negotiate because it's based on reality and it's available pretty quickly too.
And so at Arrivva, Inspectify is what you guys use.
Yeah.
Or that's a third party.
It's a third party company. We have no affiliation.
Well, it is
money from them, nothing, but we just love what they do. And it's another piece of technology that's helping our buyers and sellers out. Because they're going to do the same thing on a listing that we have. They're going to give us the list of stuff and what it's going to cost. So a seller can look at it and say, hey, yeah, it's only $5,000. Let's just do it all. And then we update the inspection and says, yeah, it's done. And then we give out an inspection report that's completely clean.
Yeah. So, to circle back though, to the original thing we were talking about is these real estate marketing companies are coming up with like scripts to prove your value. And it's all based on knowledge and stuff. What I'm hearing from you guys is that you don't need a script because you're giving them a tangible thing. This is the value that we provide. Inspections, transparent fees, everything's out there, and that's your value. Yeah. You don't need a fancy script to convey that.
No, and I think all these scripts that these people have is so they can compete with their peers. Mm-hmm. Meaning the 2.5% to 3% people, or why you should pay me 2.5% to be your buyer broker because I bring all this blah blah blah. But again, we publish our prices. You know what our prices are, and you can see all our value just going to the website.
I think at the end of the day, there are agents that should be paid more than others, right? I think that's just
agreed.
Easy to just say. Right? There's some agents that I think in a beautiful world, it's like when lawyers, right? Like when lawyers get their law degree and they pass a bar, they don't just have a firm and they can make billions of dollars, right? They go through the motions, especially if they go through a big company, right? Like they're an assistant, associate, and they go up the ranks. Now they have more experience, they charge more. That's how things should be a little bit more. Not you get the license and you get paid so much money when you don't.
Yeah, I mean, just to mention that. We put up a website and I put out some feelers. I really haven't pushed it, but if you're an outside agent who would want to join us, we have a separate URL called fairhousing.io. And I described what we do for agents, and it's even great for an agent who's just brand new, because the best thing you do as agents is just go out and solicit people and market yourself and find buyers and sellers. So what we do is we take care of everything else, and we do all the back end stuff so that you don't have to worry about doing all the forms. So you can go and do whatever. But the other thing I do is I set a fixed price for the agents to pay per deal. And I tell them, go out and set your price. Mm-hmm. And you can set it as a fixed fee, as a percentage, hourly, however you want to charge people, but charge them based on who you are, what you are. If you're a brand new agent, you're not going to make 3%. Whereas if you go to a, Killer Williams and interview there, the first thing out of their mouth is how much money you can make. That's the last thing out of my mouth. It's like, how good of an agent can we make you and how efficient can you be? And we'll let you do what you want to do. So if you're in California, Washington, Pennsylvania, come talk to us. Texas, we got a problem with because you got to be a realtor and we're not doing realtors down there. So that's crazy.
Oh, okay. You have to be a realtor in Texas?
Mm-hmm. Kind of, for right now. No. But it's because of the MLS, but that'll change.
Oh, that's right. You did explain that.
Yeah. Anybody really wants to know about all this, ping me.
Very interesting. That
yeah.
Yeah, we gotta we have a dedicated podcast about fair housing and what can offer there.
Okay.
Let's shift though. Let's shift, because last week, if you tuned in last week, and if you haven't tuned in last week, you should go back and listen to it. But towards the end, we came up with an idea for this week's podcast, which was listings. Not to take all the listings. Listings we do not take, and we were going to talk about that.
Well,
So go ahead, René.
Sometimes new customers come into our intro call and they ask us like, "Oh, can we see previous listings that you've sold before? And have you worked in these markets?" And I think that by far we have just a lot of clusters of buyers all over the area. But on the seller side, we are more specific in who we take and how we work with them. And why is that? That we do get tons of calls from people who want to sell a house $1 million above what it's going to sell, right? Or we have people who want to lack transparency, honestly. They say that they don't want to do any inspections or anything because they have stuff that they don't want to be uncovered, right? And I'm sure that we're losing money because we don't just say yes to everything, but that's not who we operate as a company as a whole, right? And the other thing is that there's other people who they think they want to sell, but they're not really realistic in the pricing. And when it comes to the pricing, right, we need to work with people that understand the dynamics of the market and how we're going to make sure that we have the perfect buyer come in and get to the home, right? But if you're the type of seller that is not really interested in selling, well, then we can't really help you. We can't really help the other people who are really wanting to sell a property. So we turn down a lot of listings. And I think we don't really see on the website. I actually thought about the idea, we should probably post a website of a list of all the listings we don't take because they're not realistic, right? Or we got people who are trying to just commit fraud in general, right? And should we post those online? Well, maybe not, right? So there's a lot of things that stop us from taking the listings. I mean, Fred, do you want to add something more specific?
Yeah, I mean, it's price. It's like in some of these sellers' minds, because they put some kind of fancy drapes up. They think their house is worth $300,000 more. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Seller. If you were the buyer of this house, would you pay this amount, showing that all the comps are $300,000 less? Even if there's thousands of buyers in the market, it just doesn't work that way. It's not like, I don't know, Elon Musk is going to just drive up to your house and say, dude, I want to overpay for your house. Nobody as a buyer wants to overpay. So there's some thought in people's mind that, okay, I'm going to list it for X and I'm going to wait for the market to come to me. Well, you know what? Don't list it, because then you're going to have it 150 days on the market and people are going to say, what's wrong with this place? So the higher you put it up, and yes, there are always agents who will take listings. There are also agents who tell people that it's some gigantic price. Oh, we'll get 2.7, even though every comp is 2.2, because I'm the greatest real estate agent in the world. And then 120 days later, it's still sitting there.
And the idea is to get it to the higher price and then talk to the buyer, the seller, and say, hey, look, well, the
market has changed.
Market's changed, shifted. We should lower the price. And eventually the house is in the market well enough where the seller will say, okay, you know what, fine, I want to get rid of it. Let's lower the price to the original price where, for example, you and I would have told the sellers that they would have gotten for the home.
Right.
Here's another times. And also people ask us exactly like, oh, how long will it take to sell? Well, it depends, right? If you're a seller who wants to price it $1 million above what it's going to sell for, then it's going to stay on the market for a long time.
Right. Here's another thing that we have done, and we don't do it on every deal, but if somebody says, I want, a higher price than what we think the real price should be, we say, look, we're going to order an appraisal from a certified licensed appraiser to give us a market appraisal of what we should be listing the house for, what it's going to sell for, because that's their professional thing. And we do. And we order that. And, sometimes they say, oh, he doesn't know anything, blah, blah, blah. But he lists 7 comps and goes down and gives it in detail as to comparing their house to every other comp.
I
appraisal.
Yeah, I know, but it's appraisers because the problem with a lot of appraisers is that at the same time, they give us, a price higher than what the market value is.
That was that one guy.
Because I've actually seen this through a lot of other appraisals, because their whole idea is that they want to make us, because who's the main customer? Real estate agents, right? And usually agents want the highest price. So they think that we have that mindset of like, just give us.
They think we're on percentage.
Well, sure. But they just want to make us happy in general, right? Because that's just how they.
Well, we can tell the appraiser, look, we want reality. You don't have to stroke our ego. We don't have egos. Yeah. We just deal in business. So that's why we don't use signs. We don't put our pictures on anything. And, we just have our toucan. That's it. Just know us by the toucan, because the big difference with us is we're a company. So it's me and René and Jen and Haley in Texas, and we run everything and we run every deal. It's not like we talk to you and I'm the boss and I'm going to give you, like when I went for sure, physical therapy once, I met the boss and he went through everything. And next time I came back, it's like some kid who was doing things. It's like, no, we're not going to pawn you off to another agent, because people ask, well, who's my agent? Who am I talking to? Well, we're in Slack channels. It's me and René. Mm-hmm. So whole different philosophy, and it works, and it works to everybody's benefit. Anyway, end of that conversation.
Almost the end. You mentioned about not taking listings, and that, the price is too high. The house is on the market for 105 days, which looks bad. The other thing is all the time it's on the market is in public listings. So there's that trick where people take it off the listing after 14 days and then relist it at a different price, but you can still see it going down.
Days on market.
And
yeah.
You can still, it's on market for 14 days and they dropped it $100,000, but it's only been on market for 2 days. But
it doesn't know. It shows, it'll show as,
it shows all that.
The total number of days.
Well, so there are
28.
There are a few loopholes to that. Obviously
6 months
less. If you list it on different MLS, you can get a fresh new listing, which, by the way, I believe it's actually technically illegal. I have to check on that. But also, if you take it, you have to take it off the market for 40 days on the same MLS for it to be a new listing. And the way it has to do is the contract has to end and a new listing agreement has to be done. That's actually how it needs to be done appropriately.
Yeah.
It's still kind of sneaky and it's not something you really want to do. The idea is to not have to relist it.
Historically, though, they still see that the house was on and off market.
Yeah.
Times, which makes it even look worse.
It's not even about historic, right? It's more about like, if you're buying a specific neighborhood, it's like, you're going to see the house. You're going to, if it comes back to the market, you're going to remember that house, right? It's not like science. It's not like freaking, I don't know how to explain it.
I guess they're looking for new buyers as opposed to the old ones who already gone away or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Well, it's good to be transparent, and it's good to not try to actively engage in fraud, which brings us up to the next DOJ charges on another mortgage fraud scheme.
It's like, it's the same old song, but a different set of idiots. I read about some guys, the DOJ found these 2 morons in New Jersey who were making up pay stubs and W-2s and fake bank statements. and sending them into their mortgage lender, probably a sloppy lender who didn't do quality control. And they got away with it for a while. They made millions, and they're the number 3 or the number 4 mortgage guys in the country. Yeah. Surprise. Guess how? I mean, you're just stupid. I mean, every time
1.4 billion in loans between 2018 and 2023.
Yeah. So do the math. 1.4 billion. They probably charge 2% per deal. So what is that? $28 million or something.
Mm-hmm.
They're just insane.
And now they face a potential penalty of 30 years in prison and a $1 million fine.
Only $1 million. Yeah. Because every time you sign for a mortgage, you sign an FBI form. It's this federal law that says you can get up to 10 years in prison and $1 million fine for committing mortgage fraud. It's like, you're just an idiot to do that. So the flip side of that, let's talk about the technology. There is a day one certainty, which comes from Fannie Mae, which is a system that they're slowly bringing out to the mortgage brokers. And we're finding our credit companies actually doing it and finding out about it, where electronically they'll connect to things like the work number to verify your employment and your income, Plaid to go through and check your bank accounts, plus the credit report, and some kind of a way. I mean, that shows your income if you've been at the same company for a couple of years, so they don't need to actually get W-2s. And it's like with that and the credit report, and if you're buying a house under $1 million and putting a nice amount down and you have good credit, you're going to probably get an appraisal waiver. So literally in the future, we could be seeing, approvals in one day that's completely automated. We go through the 3-day, in the beginning, you have the disclosures for all the stuff, including the estimated closing costs. You sign all that. They hit the button. They get everything approved, waive the appraisal. Then you literally can have your CD issued, which is the numbers for the closing, which are guesstimates. And then 3 days later, go to closing. You literally could close in a week if this thing worked perfectly. It's not there yet, but that's what we're trying to strive to. And it's completely quality controlled. You can't doctor it up, and these idiots will be gone. So, I beg the mortgage industry to just spend the money now, move forward, get this thing rocking and rolling so that everybody's on the same system. And we just get mortgages done quick, and also drive down the cost, because you won't have to process as much. You won't have appraisals to worry about. You won't have to have it come back to underwriting 3 or 4 times. The other things you might ask, hey, where did this large deposit come from? And you can actually see in Plaid where, who it came from, and then you just have to back that up. So literally, if you have a super clean file, you should be able to close in a week.
That'd be amazing.
Period. Yeah. And it's not hard. It's really not hard.
I mean, all the technology is talking to each other nowadays. It seems like, and everything's digitized. You should be able to get this thing done pretty quickly.
Exactly. So we hope and pray.
Well,
soon.
Let's hope. So let's see, as we're kind of wrapping down, what are your thoughts? Last thoughts?
Well, the Dallas Stars are down 2-0. That's a surprising thing. You'd think, worst case, they would split in Dallas. How about the LA Kings winning in overtime yesterday? So the NHL playoffs are on, kids, and today is the NFL draft.
Oh,
big whoop for
people. Are you on an NHL fantasy team? Or do you have a fantasy league going on that we don't know about?
Just in the regular season. That's
okay.
They don't have them for the playoff. It just keeps I just do it to keep me informed of kind of what's going on as opposed to listening to everything. It's like, this guy got 2 goals and assists last night. He's doing pretty good. Whatever. Let me ask you this, Drew. Since you're in San Diego, does anybody care about the Chargers anymore?
No, I see a few people, but
I still care about the Chargers.
I don't know. Them moving, it was just a bad taste. A lot of people. I think
they're going to move again. I just can't see having 2 football teams in a place that used to have none. No, Vegas that's going to be, they already have a team in Vegas.
I just don't understand why they couldn't get that stadium figured out.
Well, I think the stadium is now going to turn into a soccer stadium, aren't they?
No, it's the San Diego State tore it down. They tore down the I call it Jack Murphy Stadium.
Jack Murphy, yeah.
They tore down that stadium and they built a new football stadium for the San Diego State. I mean, it's nice. And we're getting we're getting a new arena for the Clippers.
Oh yeah, the Clippers place. It looks crazy, but
so
hey,
where are the San Diego Soccer gonna? San Diego Soccer, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I thought they played out of the sports arena, but they might be coming up to the Front Wave Arena too. I know there's a soccer thing coming in.
Yeah,
I'm honestly not up to speed, but I do know most of my friends have jumped ship from the Chargers.
They're just ignoring football, or they found another team.
Well, they just go pick another team, which is weird.
Just don't pick the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. That's all I have to say. Yeah. I can do my EAGLES Eagles.
Okay.
Let's see that again.
Yeah.
We
may need to make some micro content out of that one.
There you go.
René, what are your last thoughts?
So last episode, I think we talked about, or Fred spoke about like a speed train, right?
Not the speed train. I was talking about the one that can take your car with you between.
Oh, yeah. Well, a friend of mine is visiting me June 2nd, and he just booked a flight, San Diego to SFO, $24.
What?
On Frontier or Spirit?
Yeah. But
don't bring any luggage.
Sure.
Anything in your hand.
But the fact that you can fly for that price, it's unbeatable.
Yeah, it's 24, but then airport taxes and fees, what was it out the door?
No. That's included with everything.
What?
Yeah, but if you even bring a bag to, throw up in the overhead bin, you pay $99 on Spirit. Spirit's such a scam. It really is. The seat, the big plushy seats they have in front, don't go back. Seriously, dude?
It sounds like a scam, but it gives people the ability to choose what they want to pay for, right? So,
Oh, yeah. But they forget to tell you until you get there, kind of thing. It's just crazy.
No, I think they have a slogan where it's like, I think they have a slogan where it's like, if you want luggage, you have to pay for it, kind of thing. I think they're running like.
That sounds like a catchy slogan. Luggage you gotta pay for it.
Yeah,
like Southwest, bags fly free.
There you go.
That's the catchy slogan.
Yeah, no, Southwest is pretty good. That's who I usually fly out of.
But I've never gotten $24. And and back in the 90s, I commuted every single week from San Diego to San Jose or San Francisco. And the cheapest I'd ever get was $49.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and I mean, Southwest does those $49 all the time. San Diego to SFO.
Blind demand, guys. Once their algorithm gets to a point, the prices go up. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, $50 one way is still really cheap. Come on.
Yeah. Right. Then you still got to get from the airport, and it's point to point is the thing you got to do. Add it up. What's the Uber going to cost me? Or I got to park my car and all that stuff.
Rental cars aren't that expensive anymore, and if you have the correct credit cards, like I know, the Amex. I think the Platinum, it gives you like a free day on Hertz, and they give you like upgraded cars for free. So you can just get the lowest tier, and you're paying $30 a day, and it covers for your insurance. It's still cheaper than.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of variety out there.
A fun little comment there. My friend is flying to San Francisco, $24.
There you go.
Gotta love it. And there's the good old regular bus. It's cheap.
You're paying with time. Nothing is ever cheap. So,
well, the time has come for this podcast to end. Talking about time. Everyone wherever you are in your week. Hope it's going well. This has been the latest episode of We Fixed Real Estate. See you later, listeners. Bye-bye.